we see the passion and we see the culture and we see, their desire to serve and their intelligence, and we give them the opportunity to lead. And that's where, with more growth, we have more opportunity for leaders to come out of Unite for Her and continue this good work. So it's been a pleasure, really a privilege to be able to see it grow in such a way.
Hi, and welcome to Beyond Empty Nest. I'm your host, Jody Silverman, speaker, mentor, and Chief Dare Officer at Moms Who Dare. Every Thursday, I'll share stories of midlife transformation, happiness tips, and dare you to see the opportunities waiting for you so that you can make this next chapter even better than the last. If you're ready to dare, I'm ready to dare with you. Let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody. When Sue Weldon was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2004, she began searching for information on therapies that would complement the medical treatments she was receiving. What she discovered was a lack of easily accessible resources on topics like nutrition, acupuncture, massage, yoga, counseling, and other ways for breast cancer patients to enhance their wellness and care for their emotional, spiritual, and physical needs. So what did Sue do? In 2009, Weldon founded Unite for Her to help, empower, and restore others diagnosed with breast cancer. Unite for Her's outreach began right in my own backyard, my hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and has since grown to provide services, support, and education to those affected by breast and ovarian cancers nationwide. Sue, welcome to Beyond Empty Nest.
Thank you. Yeah, so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, when October rolls around, we all know that's the official Breast Cancer Awareness Month around the world. And it was very important for me to dedicate this month in the memory of my sister-in-law, Deb, and to all those living with breast cancer, all those survived breast cancer, and those that are part of the lives of those that are affected by breast cancer. Because I don't know many people that have not been touched or affected by breast cancer in some way, shape, or form. So you saying yes to being one of our guests was a highlight for me. So welcome.
Oh, good. We appreciate your commitment.
Yeah. So I love when we find organizations. There's so many organizations out there, and I love what you're doing. Let's talk a little bit, because when you sent me some information, you were talking about flipping the script from a gymnastics coach to national nonprofit leader, transforming breast cancer and equity for all. When did this happen for you? I know in 2009, but a little bit of the journey there.
Yeah, well, when I was diagnosed, I really found a lack of resources, just what you had said. And it wasn't because I wasn't educated. It just wasn't talked about. It just wasn't front and center in the medical community. And there are so many integrative therapies that truly help mitigate side effects and symptoms that we just don't know about without more drugs and prescriptions. So during the time that I was diagnosed in 2004, I really dove into learning about all of these types of therapies: acupuncture, yoga, massage therapy, nutrition. All became so incredibly valuable to me. Gave me control again, enabled me to find my confidence again, to see what my old self looked like, because I really lost that person during diagnosis. When I was learning and getting educated and implementing all of these therapies, I was forming Unite for Her. I just didn't realize it. It was the blueprint. And those therapies would help me with hot flashes, bone pain, neuropathy, headaches, all of the debilitating side effects that come from chemotherapy treatments and surgery. It's exhausting. It's a lot, emotionally and physically. But yet nobody talked about it, not covered by insurance and not covered by the standard of care. So, at that time, I was a gymnastics coach. I was in sales. I, swore they had the wrong girl. I could not get over that they had the right girl. And, for me to be able to lean into an area that is so powerful and then to share that, and that was the catalyst. It actually it was 8 words that I say all the time that came to me when I was at an event at Living Beyond Breast Cancer's Yoga on the Steps event
Yeah.
in 2004 and maybe 2005. And this young woman, that I saw the corner of my eye, I had shared with her everything I did. And she, bald, hollow eyes, yellowish skin. I was looking in a mirror, and I just wanted to go up to her because I was so empowered by everything that I learned and wanted to share it. And she just said, "Good for you. I could never afford all that." And that was really, they were the 8 words that really spearheaded and became the catalyst for me diving in and really trying to form a nonprofit that gave access. From the beginning, access was a problem, and education and understanding what is available to help navigate a really difficult time. So, in 2005, this idea came to me. It truly was from a stranger that I didn't know, because I really felt ashamed. I couldn't get over that people didn't have access to this type of treatment. And how can we do better? And we formed our first wellness program. We all worked for free and volunteered and, started that nonprofit in 2009. And I was a gymnastics coach. So, we formed a event called the Pink Invitational. It still is up and running. It's very large. It's at the convention center.
What is it? I'm sorry. What is it called?
The Pink Invitational.
The Pink
Yeah.
Invitational. Okay.
Yeah, it's a gymnastics event because that was, my wheelhouse. And
Right.
we raised a good amount of money that we could fund a new hospital. And that was Paoli Hospital, our first wellness day in 2010. And then, 14 years later, we're now serving over 5,300 members across the nation. We are leaning in and prioritizing women of color. We know the health disparities that occur for our Black and brown women. They have a higher percentage of mortality, 42% higher than the average white woman if diagnosed. And we knew that we could do better there and that we needed to prioritize. So that happened actually during COVID, that we moved nationwide in 2020 because we shifted our whole model.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as did everybody, right? Any
Yeah.
business, nonprofit, other. But I love it. So those are just, those are some key ways that you just named some key ways that steps that, Unite for Her has been helping and continues to help bridge the health equity gaps with, as far as it goes for standard breast care, because I don't know, I could get on my soapbox about how women are not being cared for in this country. And I do a sidebar to note that men do get breast cancer, that there are men.
We do. Yeah, we treat men too. We have a Unite for Him, a Unite for Them. We really lean into our non-gender community. It's very important for us to have this sense of belonging. And I mean, for us, it is all about getting access. And access is difficult in America, and really that education is so key. But financially, it's a lot.
All right. So Sue, when you talk about integrative therapies, I'm assuming integrative therapies refers to things like nutrition and acupuncture, massage and yoga and counseling and all of that. So how have you found that integrative therapies help during and after cancer diagnosis?
Yeah, in so many ways, integrative therapies can be interchanged with complementary, supportive. What occurs is that it actually allows you to manage those side effects and symptoms without more drugs and prescriptions. So we survey all of our participants, really excited that we were able to present the science and the data too at a national symposium. And we had found that 28% of our participants were able to take at least one or more less prescribed medications because of the Unite for Her program. They were able to lean into things like yoga and Reiki and counseling to help them manage really difficult side effects that were overwhelming, that sometimes people are taking over-the-counter drugs for, digestive issues, GI issues. The fact that we can, give them tools without more prescriptions to manage that give you more side effects is important. Quality of life, 97% agree that their quality of life was better. Their emotional well-being was better. 80% said that they were able to, have a better emotional well-being. The fact that they were able to think about how to mitigate side effects and symptoms with Unite for Hers program. Some people choose yoga to help them sleep. Others might choose counseling. Others might choose acupuncture. It's a program that's so targeted for the individual that they get to choose and create their own program.
Love
And
it.
that's what's key, because, they have to live with that. It's a lifestyle change. And when they learn these tools of maybe trying some acupuncture that can actually help mitigate hot flashes and bone pain and depression and anxiety, just crazy, all of the different areas that you can lean into with this type of treatment, this Eastern type of medicine. Some people choose yoga, the philosophy of yoga, not the pull your foot up over your head and wear those cute pants. I mean, it's the power of breath and being it helped me with my nausea. It helped me with my sleep, with energy level. So it is so personally designed for them, but it's really an introduction to learn how to lean into these therapies in a way that, oh, I could do that. I could do that every day. This could be a part of my routine. Nutrition, hands down, is key. Because we are leaning in, we talked a lot about leaning into our underserved communities. When we did that across the nation, we found that we were going to so many areas, zip codes that are really in need, that they were choosing. We have a passport of services. It's $2,000 worth of services that we give. They were choosing their passport of services all for the food and the nutrition, because they had a basic need of getting food on the table. But what we do is we do a grocery shop with them, with a registered dietitian that walks them through. We send them 6 weeks of fresh vegetables to their home so that they have access to this fresh nutrition. Some areas don't even have a store that has access to fresh food like that. So the fact that we can intervene in a way that is tangible and educating and giving them, access to registered dietitians that can answer their questions, because it's confusing, a lot of information is out there and it can be incredibly overwhelming. So we guide them in a way that allows them to feel empowered and not overwhelmed, and one step at a time moving towards, a sense of well-being that's going to work for them.
I mean, there's so much that you offer. And it's so important, so important. And just having this one place to come to, Unite for Her, Unite for Him, Unite for Them. We're going to get into that in a minute, how you did, how you continue to grow, expand, to be more inclusive, more diverse, and go across the nation during a pandemic. We're going to get to that in a minute. But to be able to go to this one space online and have your menu of services that are educational,
all free,
informative, all free.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, oh my God, it's so powerful. It's moving. It's beautiful. It's all of that. And that's why you're sitting here today, because we have to get the word out there more, because not everybody knows that these resources exist here. So getting to what you said about, you've went from Unite to Her, everything has a place where it starts, right? It started with your journey, and because you saw a lack of resources for you. And then
and I had access.
And you had access.
That was the whole thing. I was able to find and have access, and that just isn't the standard. And I really felt ashamed on that. I just felt like if I shared what I did with others that are in need, they could go do the same. And it's just not the case.
Because we don't think these basic things that we have access to. And you know what? I get that you would initially feel shame. And I think our friend Brene Brown would say no, because what you did was, it was a realization. Those 8 words, that good for you, I could never afford that, from that woman. What that did, she gave you a gift. She gave you the gift to say, oh God, totally. I live in my world, but there's this all out here. But you took action on it, Sue. You did something about it.
It was powerful. And when we went across the nation, we couldn't do it without our partners. It is such a collaborative investment in this community that we serve. And when we link arms with other people who are like-minded and have the same values and the same core values, and then we go into the culture that knows the community best, our Black and Brown cultures, our Latina cultures, we link arms with those nonprofits, and they help us recruit because they have the better voice. They have a more powerful voice than I, a white woman, will have. They give us that trust. that they can say, really, they're the real deal. They're going to give you $2,000 worth of services, and they're not going to ask for anything in return. Like,
Right.
honestly, that is the goal.
Right. You
And
need those
and those
partners.
collaborations are key. You'll see on our website too, we have over 80 partners all across the nation, hospital partners, pharmaceutical partners, but the nonprofit partners and those, boots on the ground nonprofits that are in the culture, El Congreso and, La Comunidad, and those organizations that are really targeted to the Latino population. That's important for us. We hired a registered dietitian that is a Latino woman. We hired a registered dietitian that is a Black woman. We know the importance of representing the community that we want to serve. And you can't underestimate that.
No,
because
no.
we have to look like the community we want to serve. And there's still more work to be done,
Yeah.
for sure. But the fact that we're able to have, more than 37% of our population underrepresented, being treated by Unite for Her, that's a big lift. It's a big lift of where we were.
It is. It is. So how did Unite for Her expand across the nation during a national pandemic?
Yeah, I know. Really, I'll tell you, an innovative, creative staff. I am so in all of my staff. They are not afraid of change. They are not afraid to listen to a new idea and think, okay, we can do that. We had 800 individuals that we were ready to serve when the world shut down. And that was just local. That was the PA area, Delaware, New Jersey. And I remember sitting there. We all got our ring lights. We all sat and started doing messaging on Facebook and said, okay, sit tight. We're going to be there for you. Cancer did not stop, and we weren't going to stop either. We just had to rethink how we delivered the programming. So it was a care box. It was a her care box, his care box. And we took everything that we did in a setting that was a conference and put it in the care box along with the passport, which is $2,000 worth of services. And we shipped it right to the homes. We still recruit with our hospital partners, our nurse navigators, our oncologists. They all help us with the recruiting. They have the pulse of the patient. And then once they received their box, they were invited to a wellness conference, similar to the platform we're on today, where I have one at 1:00, and we'll have over 60, 80 individuals coming in, newly diagnosed, and they learn how to get oriented on the Unite for Her program. They learn how to use the passport. So we took everything that we used to do in person and made it now on Zoom, and changed that whole format. And then all of our providers, yoga, Reiki, nutrition, counseling, fitness, they all had to switch too. They all had to get very used to a telehealth type of approach.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And we would FaceTime and we would do it on Zoom, and it worked. It worked. It was even more powerful. We even did our fundraising on Zoom. We did a fashion show on Zoom with 300 people coming in. Wow. And our women walking their home runways. We sent the clothes to them. So everything changed, but the staff was all in, and they're so, so remarkable and eager to look for ways to make it better.
Well, then that's key. That's
doing that, locally. Now we can go anywhere. We can go anywhere because we mastered it locally. And except for the massage therapy and the acupuncture, Unite for Her's programming is nationwide, because you can do a telehealth type of approach to that, therapy session.
Oh, absolutely. You could do Reiki virtually. You could do any kind of yoga practice. You could do a lot.
I mean, counseling had an uptick because people actually were more comfortable being home and in their bedrooms or in their car and on their phone and having their session. And it was so valuable. We learned a lot. We're still learning. We built a whole education platform. You'll see that on our website. It's a Ask the Expert speaker series, food for thought, cooking webinars, because we had to. But now it's our first choice because now it's so easily accessible all the way across the nation. We're in every state. We're able to serve anyone, anywhere,
which is beautiful.
And created even an additional program called our Empowered Living program, so that nobody would have to be on a wait list. We can only move as fast as we can raise the funds. So $2,000 worth of services it's a lot of money. It's an expensive model, but more and more people are getting to know us. Our pharma partners are leaning in to really want to do that patient engagement. We help patients adhere to treatments better. So corporately, a lot of corporations have that same intent of bridging health equity gaps, but we have the impact, right? So together, their intent, our impact of programming, we make a perfect team. And we can really make, these strides to getting to the individuals and getting them the care that they need. They just need to link arms and partner with us and help us with the funding, which is a lot easier for a lot of corporations than it is for nonprofits. So it really is a collaborative approach. We can't do it alone. My team and board, they're dynamic, and just to see the elevation of leadership and strengths that they have achieved during, a time that's really incredibly difficult and, devastating to a lot of people. It shows a lot of character and strength on what you can do.
Yeah. No, and everything you said, I call those, it was a messy 3 years. It was a real messy 3 years, but yet there were so many gifts in the mess. When we can get away from the getting caught in the victimhood of the 3-year pandemic and move aside and see the gifts, because there's always a gift somewhere buried in the mess.
Yeah. I always say it was our best teacher. I mean, cancer, it's devastating.
Yeah, it is.
It was a teacher for me. It was a teacher for me. The
pandemic, it was devastating on so many levels, and yet this gift of allowing Unite for Her to go
really expand,
cast your net wider and offer these services, and that's probably resulting in more partnerships and sponsorships coming. So it's wonderful. And I love what you said about your team, and I'm going to toot your own horn. It comes from the top. You don't have a team of people willing and able to say, okay, we can do this. How are we going to do this? First of all, you have a shared mission. There is nobody in your organization that's not passionate about what your mission is and what your vision is. And I'll even read it. You write the vision on your website says, every person with breast cancer and ovarian cancers will feel the support of a loving community and will have access to comprehensive education, services, and tools that enrich their health and well-being. We are committed to being a safe space for people of all sexual orientations, gender identities. And that's everything that you just shared with us is right in alignment with your vision. And I know that people listening to this right now are going to share this with their loved ones that they know could benefit from the services. They will now know what they can get, what might be missing, what they might be like, oh my God, I might be able to feel better. I might be able to get off a couple of my medications. And I'm hoping that people share this with their employees and their employers and partnerships.
And that is key. I mean, when people ask, how can we get involved? It's just share our mission, because a lot of employers have opportunities to give, whether it's through community grants or we do box builds where the employees have like an employee giving day. All of that gives us funding, which treats more individuals affected by cancer. So, the fact that we could deliver over 25,000 therapies last year and 5,322 members, we can't do that alone, and we have 4 very incredible signature events. When we talk about the leadership of the team, we keep building more and more dynamic leaders on our team. And they have been with us since the beginning. And that's where our culture is so valuable, because we see the passion and we see the culture and we see, their desire to serve and their intelligence, and we give them the opportunity to lead. And that's where, with more growth, we have more opportunity for leaders to come out of Unite for Her and continue this good work. So it's been a pleasure, really a privilege to be able to see it grow in such a way.
You've laid a solid foundation, and that's what you need to build anything.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
All right. So much shared here. Everything is in our show notes, your website, where they can find you. We're going to actually also share the guiding principles. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. We're going to share what your guiding principles are below. We will share what the vision is. Everything that we talked about here will be made accessible via links for people to go find you, and to make sure that we can help you on Beyond Emptiness spread the word, the mission, the vision of, and your guiding principles of Unite for Her. So
well, thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that. We have some fun events coming up too. I know you said that you have a lot of people in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
Come out and join us, be a part of our community. We have a 5K in Westchester coming up on September 23rd. About 2,000 people will be in the streets of Westchester. And then we have a chef event that is a very sought after ticket. That's November 9th at the Foundry in Phoenixville.
Oh,
Another great, 25 chefs, vineyards, mocktails, a lot of non-alcoholic spirits now, which people it's so
oh, it's
popular now.
all the rage. Yes.
Yeah. So we have a lot of distributors coming. And then, of course, our Pink Invitational, our founding event, that's in February down at the Convention Center. And our Bloom Fashion Show is in April. So many ways to get involved and just come out and see us and hear the voice of those that we serve. Because, honestly, if you want to learn about Unite for Her, there's a great place on our website. Just go to the testimonial page, because you'll see the voices of those that we serve. You'll hear them, click on the video, hear the work that we're doing, because they say it better than any of us could ever. Right. And
yes,
and
absolutely.
They're our why. That's why we continue to do what we do.
Well, thank you, Sue. And we will make sure to check it all out. I will make sure to check it all out. I do have a question for you. Now, I did not prepare you for this at the beginning. So if you don't, I have one for you, but I always ask. The whole foundation of what I built my whole platform on is about daring others to step out and do new and different things. And the reason being, it's to get out of your head and out of your way so that you can find purpose, passion, fulfillment, and fun. So I always ask my guests to leave the audience with a dare.
Mm-hmm.
So does something come to mind that you would like to dare the audience to do?
Yeah. I think, so much of my leadership, I coached for years, coached a gymnastics team, and parenting too is just constantly coaching.
Oh gosh, yes.
And you do know that, the best opportunities come in the situations that you either have no control over or are incredibly uncomfortable. So embrace the uncomfortable, don't feel like that, oh gosh, this is uncomfortable for me. How am I going to get through it? Because once you sort of put one foot in front of the other and move forward, that is your body's natural instinct. Just move forward, and it will actually open up a lot of doors that you didn't think about. And I think our best work happens when we're uncomfortable, and when we're out of our element, and when we're stretching ourselves, So it can be very simple. It can be more involved. It's small steps, but that's where, life happens.
Yeah.
A lot is when you're in those situations that move you to expand, and look at things differently.
So embrace the uncomfortable. And once you make that decision, what I'm hearing you say is, once you decide, okay, this is uncomfortable and I'm embracing it, your next step will reveal itself. And all you have to do is take that little next step. And the next one.
You'll be proud. You'll be proud that you're
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right up there with the daring. So thank you for that. And Sue, thank you for you, your organization, everything you do for, again, all those diagnosed with, living with, and those who support those diagnosed and living with breast cancer and ovarian cancer. It's amazing work. I look forward to learning more myself. And everybody, this whole month is about bringing awareness to different aspects and organizations and resources available to you and the people you love if you have been affected in any way by breast cancer or ovarian cancer. So, check out the websites of all of our guests. Leave a comment, write a review, and tell, let me know, or let Sue know through that comment and review, what it was that you learned that made you feel just a little bit better, a little more comforted, a little bit more confident that you've got this. And I promise that if you leave that for Sue, I will make sure that she gets it immediately. I would forward it to her. And don't forget to tune in next Thursday for another episode of Beyond Empty Nest. And as I always say, dare on. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond Empty Nest. Head over to jodysilverman.com for our full show notes, more information, and additional resources to support you through empty nest and midlife. I'll see you next Thursday. Dare on.